It's kinda dark out. I do think this fight of the light, This is a rough draft, but fuck it, the timing was right.
Africa. You can tell this guy right here from Africa.
You're gonna learn some things about the black man very soon. And by the way, those of you who are getting real nervous.
And y'all wonder why the government had us labeled as black extraterrestrial in the CIA FBI files.
Those of you are getting scared about the potential of an invasion of little green men from Mars on UFOs. I can tell you right now, there are no little green men coming. But the pilots of those vehicles that you call unidentified flying objects, they look like me.
What do I always say? Let's keep going.
They look like me. And they are not from some alien place. They're from right here with a superior technology that you could only dream about. And the powers that be, your rulers, your leaders, they know who are the pilots. That's why UFOs are classified above top secret. You cannot learn about them.
Aliens are in the ocean. And different Congress and U.S. government officials just came out with a whole hearing and just told us everything we needed to know about these UFO sightings. Now, instead of UFOs, they mainly call them UAPs, which is any object that's in the air or sea that can't be immediately unidentified or explained, because they try to avoid the alien stigma of the term UFO. But they literally just had this huge meeting Wednesday, and all four of these men that were the witnesses were like retired people in the Navy and different branches high up in the military and government. And each one of these men talked about different situations with the UFOs underwater. And one of the men talked about how there was an unidentified underwater craft following a U.S. submarine. And he said nothing that they knew of technology-wise could replicate that. And the speed of the object was faster than anything they could think of. He kept saying it was like an underwater torpedo. And this man, I believe his name is Elizondo, he went more in depth about the stuff that's going on more than anybody. Because in this whole hearing, they're telling us this stuff, but they are very cautious at what they say. And he said that there is excessive secrecy. And he said it has been used to hide the fact that we are not alone and we haven't been alone for a long time. And in this hearing, the people would ask them questions like, do you believe that the government is aware of this stuff? And they all was like, yes. They've been knew what was going on for a minute now. They asked them, do they believe that some people can communicate with them? And they said yes. This whole hearing is actually very crazy because like these are like high up men and branches of the military and like the government. Serious men that I highly doubt would be coming up with some alien stories. And men that actually has families and lives to go back to. And this could be a dangerous topic. And like I said, one slip up could have messed up everything. So they had to be very cautious at what they told us. So that just makes me think like everything that I talk about in the ocean, I just know it's real. That's why I just believe everything in the Bermuda Triangle is a portal. I believe that they're mermaids. What if aliens were mermaids? Like, what if they're in cahoots with each other? Like, people believe that these underwater kingdom creatures are demonic. So we've been in cahoots and we have these demons that's living in our oceans that we swim in. It's a lie, y'all. It is a lie. And they just keep telling us, like they had a literal meeting last year about the same topic. Not too many people talked about it. Like they're literally telling us this stuff and people still don't believe. I know some people are like, oh, I had to see it to believe it. Did you see dinosaurs and you believe it? No, you only believe it because they taught us that in school, but you did not see that. The same way they have fossils and stuff, that's how we know that they're true. These people are literally telling us there's actual unknown spacecrafts in our oceans that they have seen, and there's some parts of it hidden. Is that not enough for y'all to believe, y'all? But my thing is, why are they now telling us this stuff? What is happening? What are they preparing us for? Because at the end of the day, they told us. They can't say they did not tell us. It's the law of nature or something. They gotta tell us. They gotta tell us. But let me know what y'all think about the fact that these aliens could be in our oceans. And let me know if y'all watched the video too. It's actually very interesting.
The area is really area based and the area there. So Hezbollah attacked this base on at the beginning, just like a few months ago.
You see what's actually going on in Us.Ur. You see this, right? They want to tell us that Israel and Palestine are fighting against each other.
at the beginning of
It's the Al Jazeera News triangular-shaped object erasing missiles,
one of the main areas Israeli air
which means that they're not fighting each other. Just like in Russia and Ukraine, they were not fighting each other. They were actually fighting together. And why are the people of Israel fleeing Israel? Why are the people in Palestine running to caves? Come on now. Something is going on that we told you World War III is about to take place, and this shit is about to get real. Okay, this is a 9-minute segment regarding the government and what they call aliens, which are literally the Brotherhood. All right, and just check this out here for a second, okay? Sorry about that.
I've raised the issue, as has my colleagues, Maliotakis and others in New Jersey and New York, about these drone sightings. So last night I was on the beach in Island State Park in Ocean County with the sheriff. He has been working it every single night. He's got his own tethered drones chronicling. One of his officers 2 nights ago saw 50 drones come in off the ocean right there. So we thought maybe they'll replicate it. They didn't, but we thought it was a possibility.
It came off the ocean.
Then last night we had a number of other people there, including a commanding officer from the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went through the water, followed right behind them. You know, and I said, "What's the rules of engagement? I mean, you do it if you're fighting against a narco trafficker or something." And they said, "We don't know. We don't have any."
Last night, a constituent saw one of these drones hovering over the Verrazano Bridge, which connects Staten Island and Brooklyn. And on one side of that, you have the Coast Guard base at Fort Wadsworth. And on the other side of that, we have an Army base in Fort Hamilton in Brooklyn. And so it is very concerning that they're choosing to fly these things over, as Phil Murphy said, sensitive infrastructure or military installations. And we deserve and demand answers. And we would expect our government agencies to have those answers for elected officials.
So I did reach out to the commanding officer at the Joint Base, which is also in my district, and talked to him. Had a very good conversation. Colonel Anthony Smith, Joint Base Fort Dix McGuire, the 87th Air Wing, Air Base Wing today. And I said, I know you have the capability, you've put out press releases, to identify and bring down drones. Why can't you deploy them, at least to the ocean? Bring one of these down, find out who's doing it. They have the capability. He said, we don't have the authority, only within the parameters of our base. Well, there's a national interest here. Our jets fly over the ocean all the time for training, so that perimeter is larger. So I did write Secretary Lloyd Austin asking that capability that may be sitting in a closet somewhere. I know they use it all the time, but bring it out. And I'm not saying you got to share it with the sheriffs. Be nice. Just do it yourself in the interest of the American public. So I would ask if you would echo that request. I mean, DOD's got the capability, and maybe Homeland Security does as well. When we had a Zoom meeting with Secretary Mayorkas, our governor put it together, and I appreciated that. But I asked them, why can't we just track where they go to?
Well, over the past few weeks, hundreds of eyewitnesses have now reported seeing large-size UFOs or drones, you can call them whatever you like, hovering for hours, not minutes, over parts of the United States, from Arizona to New Jersey to North Carolina, all across the United States. Many reports that these are hovering over military installations as well. And now we know that the FBI is actively investigating these UFOs. In fact, we just got word that these UFOs are now hovering over federal agents' homes. Listen.
Well, Will, one of the ships was in fact inspected by the Coast Guard, and they couldn't find anything. The thing is that there were several other suspicious ships in the region that they never got to. And Will, it gets worse. Just a couple of months earlier, there were several mystery drone flights over our nuclear testing range in Nevada, just north of Las Vegas. And again, nothing was done. And it gets even worse. Some of the FBI agents that have been assigned to look into this have reported drones flying over their homes as if to say, hey, we know where you are.
What is going on in New Jersey?
So, sir, the FBI and our Newark field office, along with the state and local partners there, the Bureau is actively investigating the situation you mentioned, just the unexplained sighting of drone activity over that part of New Jersey, including proximity to sensitive sites and areas of concern. So we do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet. We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for those drone flights. But we're actively investigating. What the Bureau has done to aid our state and local partners is what we generally do, enlist the help of the interagency, enlist the help of the public. There's a tip line there, that 1-800-CALL FBI, tips.fbi, for information from the public that could help us resolve this. It is concerning. Is
the public at risk? Is public safety at risk? Are we concerned that there are nefarious intentions that could cause either national security or a public safety incident that would put Americans at risk?
There's nothing that is known that would lead me to say that, but we just don't know, and that's the concerning part.
Mayor, thank you first of all for your time. You've seen these drones. Before we talk about the theories on the source of them, kind of just describe what you've experienced.
Been hearing about them, but last Tuesday night, a resident in town, one of my neighbors on my block, said that there were 8 overhead over our elementary school and municipal complex, which are, on the same block. So I got in my car and I rode around here. And by the time I got around here, which is only about a half-mile ride, the drones had all moved east over the town of Dover, New Jersey, kind of in between us. There's a large county park, and they were everywhere. I have a video of it was 4 with a kind of a stationary drone. What it appeared to us was there was one drone that was just stationary, and 4 were going back and forth in a scanning pattern. I'm a little older, so I would, look like Pong from back in the day, right? Back, forth, and they went over the town of Dover. I went down into Dover to see a better look, get some more pictures, and they moved east again. And that was my own personal observation. I have residents reporting, last night some residents reported that there were, over various times of the evening, they were watching, and there were 12 over our lake. And they can't get pictures because they come out really grainy, and there's like little dots on cell phones. I'm hoping some folks with some really good equipment can get out there. I know there's a fellow in town who has infrared night equipment who's going out tonight looking. He's going to try to see if he can get. But it's very disconcerting.
What do you think is going on, Mayor? What do you think this is?
Well, to be intentionally a little inflammatory, the state of New Jersey has been invaded by drones. The question and the problem and the nervousness is by who? Because they are everywhere. There are hundreds of these things. I have friends up and down the state. They're reporting down at the Jersey Shore, in southern counties, Cape May, all the way up into Sussex County, the length of the state. They're reporting that there are drones everywhere. Theories range from that it's a military exercise because President Trump flies in and out of New Jersey and has property here, to they're organized clubs who are just putting them up in the air. But the activity of the drones, the methodical scanning back and forth, it gives a lot of people pause because they're not really sure what that's about. There are people who say they're geo tracking or something. I forget what the word is. Scanning, almost like a Google Earth, but a night thing, but it's all crazy speculation in the fact that no one's provided answers.
I've heard from people in the Pentagon that the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area that Peter's.
Wow. Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword
in the Pentagon, in the the military circles that are in the know about the cover up here, they kind of in whisper tones talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Us.Ur area.
The Anunnaki?
Well, could be.
Under the other ancient names. Do you think that has anything to do with why
broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects.
Putin wants to disclose about the Anunnaki. Now, I posted a video before with former KGB agent, whistleblower, in his interview talking about this. And I sat here for hours trying to transcribe and translate what he was saying, because in the video it is so difficult to understand. So let's get into it. First of all, I want to say that what this agent is saying coincides with the whistleblower, former head of security from Area 51, that I already made a video about, where these Anunnaki giants that woke up from stasis were not able of being contained. Bullets in regular firearms do absolutely nothing to them. Like in the movie Superman, do you see the extraterrestrials with the superpowers? So let's see if I can sum it up. Putin wants to disclose about the Anunnaki, but he can't. Russian government calls it the Anunnaki threat. The question was, when did Putin learn about this threat? And what is the background that has Putin determining that the Anunnaki are evil? And former KGB agent says early 2012. He doesn't remember the exact date. But it was 2012 when they started getting reports on extraterrestrial intelligence. Allegedly, the Anunnaki are in Syria, in Jordan, and Ukraine, based on their intelligence. They seem to have been infiltrating in the war on both sides, and this is to camouflage within the war and be able to take humans out. The next question is, if these things are happening out of Russia, then why does Putin care? Putin cares because, unlike the rest of the world, he realizes the huge threat. Or maybe he's not their puppet and others are. He goes on to say that if they don't fight them in Syria, one day we're going to end up having to fight them in Russia. He makes a reference to Stalingrad. The next question is, what is their disposition? Are they strong? Allegedly, these Anunnakis are giants. There are smaller ones that are 3 meters, and then there are the taller ones that go all the way up to 5 meters. And just so you know, 3 meters is about 9.10 feet. 5 meters is over 16 feet tall. Everything coincides. And the ancient history left on Earth by these Anunnaki. And Putin has given an executive order to prepare nationwide. The Anunnaki are trying to defeat the military bases in Europe. Their early encounters with the Anunnaki took place in caves in Syria, where he says they lost many Russian soldiers. He says that they